of all the years I've spent in Spain, the courses mean a lot to me personally because I can see a lot of interconnections between other lineages in Spain, and I can compare and contrast Toni's approach with other great coaches in Spain like Pato Alvarez or Luis Bruguera, or there are many others as well whom I've studied with. So for me, it's just an amazing opportunity to learn a system from Toni and Toni's approach to developing players, because before he was so secretive. He didn't share anything when he was on tour with Rafa, probably for good reason. He didn't want people to know what he was doing. With Rafa, he didn't want to reveal any secrets that might give Rafa's opponents an edge. But now it seems that he has settled down in Mallorca. He's involved with the academy. And I'm not sure what the impetus was for developing the courses. I think he wanted to share his incredible knowledge and experience from traveling for so many years on tour. And I think there was a bona fide, sincere, I think he was very sincere that about sharing this knowledge of his very incredible, unique experience that he had, raising up one of the greatest players of all time from a young age. Not many people on the planet can say that they've done that or had the experience of doing that. It's very rare to take a kid from a very young age and develop them into a multiple Grand Slam winner. I think 19 Grand Slams now. I don't know anyone who's done that off the top of my head. Maybe the only person close might be Richard Williams, perhaps, or I don't know if I can think of anyone else, because even someone like Bollettieri, who is famous for developing so many top players, didn't take them from under 10. I know that Rafa started with Toni when he was younger than that. So very unique perspective that Toni had of a young athlete growing up and then becoming a world-class junior and then eventually a tremendous professional player, one of the greatest players of all time. Really fascinating journey. Imagine being in Toni's shoes and experiencing those years, year after year. Must have been an amazing experience for him, just as a coach. I get the sense that Toni, he wasn't a very good player, and you can see in the videos, that's one thing. He can't play very well. He doesn't have really very good technique either. So you get an inside look at Toni working on the court, which is unusual, especially with different levels of players. You see him working with young players, under 10, like total beginners. So in the mentor course, he's working with very young players. You see him working with intermediates and then advanced players. So he seems a lot more comfortable with the advanced players. If I might, try to give you the straight dope here, like straight, my perception as a high performance coach, as a junior developer is, what I read from watching Toni work is he looks a lot more comfortable with the advanced juniors. He looks a little more unsteady with the youngest ones, the kids who are not well formed. And, he's he has an interesting court presence. He's very serious, very tough. But he has, occasional moments of great sense of humor. But you can feel that his energy and intensity when he's on the court working with players. I think that's something that he talks about. He talks a lot about that the coach has to have a strong court presence and the coach has to be very demanding. He's a big believer that coaches need to demand a lot. Parents too. He believes parents should be very demanding of their players. And he believes in the body language of a coach. He believes it's very important for the coach to be energized and strong and to be involved with the player, to be an inspiration and a motivation for a player. So you see that he demonstrates that himself working with his students. The courses are really interesting in that they're filmed at the Nadal Academy. I've been there. I've watched Toni work live. at the Nadal Academy, and I've also interviewed him for an article for a tennis magazine that I wrote. So I do have some firsthand experience with Toni as well, but not to the extent that I never had access to him the way he gives access in these courses online. Incredible that he gives so much information and time. He lets the cameras in to see him working with different groups and levels of players, which is just incredible. The other thing that's really amazing about the courses is they're all translated. That's the thing. They are. It must have been a painstaking job. So because the courses are all in Spanish, right? And the company that produced them, they had to hire a translator to translate the courses, and they're in multiple translations. So you can have the classes translated into English, which helped me a lot because my Spanish is not very good. And actually, my Spanish is becoming better by listening to the classes all the time. The last year or two, I've been studying these classes regularly, and I think it's actually helping my Spanish, although my Spanish may be very much influenced by Toni's language and his accent and things like that, which is fine, I guess. If you're going to mimic the language of someone from Spain, I guess the good choice would be Toni Nadal. So the course is helping me with my Spanish, and also helping me a lot, of course, with the coaching side of things. So where was I? These classes are just amazing that he took the time to produce this much material. So I don't like the word content, but in terms of video content, it's just hours and hours of time that he dedicated. 36 class. Just do the math. 36 classes per course, half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour or more per class, 3 or 4 courses. It's a lot of material. He must have prepared a lot. You can tell that everything is well organized in the courses, and he put a lot of time and thought into sharing his method. You can see that he was very sincere and earnest about sharing his philosophy and his approach to training players. And I appreciate that, because there are many online courses that are they're just not that good, not that well organized, and they don't have, you feel that they were not done very professionally. So these courses are extremely professional, and you can tell that Toni's a guy who is busy, who's being pulled a lot of different directions from folks, and that the fact that he was willing to do this and make all these videos, take the time to bring the cameras in to watch him work on court, to share he calls them tips or consejos. He has the way the courses are done is he basically has, in each class, he goes through a lesson, a lesson that he might do with a group of players at that appropriate level, and then at the end he has a time that he gives tips or counsel or advice, and those are, I think, I found the most interesting of all the parts of the course, where he gives he kind of shares his wisdom about junior development, or about strategy, or about parenting, or psychology. It's really fascinating, and I think at some point in the future, I'm just going to collect, or maybe write an article, or share more about just the wisdom parts of his classes. So it's interesting to learn the drills and the exercises, and how he interacts with players and builds players. But at the same time, the wisdom, the theory, the philosophy part of the class, it's not necessarily broken down easily. You have to watch all of the videos and get to the end to listen to the wisdom part. But I think those wisdom parts of the classes are incredible, amazing. There's a tremendous amount of experience and knowledge that he shares, but they're at the conclusion of each video. So you've got to go through each one sort of laboriously and watch all of the drills, which some are good, some maybe are not so great. We